Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about a YouTuber named Base Camera. So basically, I met him little over a year ago, and I had helped him create his project, Batman: The Shadow's Origins, and helped him build Gotham, and worked with him for over a year. We had a lot of agreements, a lot of things should have been done a certain way. We agreed on that entirely. But over time, I decided that I wanted to have my own ideas, and I had asked him if he would help me learn to animate, learn to do this, learn to do that. Well, we never get around to it, and he never does. He says he's more worried about his project, but every time I ask him if we could work on it, he's always on VR chat on some VR date, which there's something that I do want to bring up. I did end up adding him on VR chat a little while ago before we had our falling out, which I will get to that. He's had some activities on some games that may not be too suitable for his image. In particular, the VR chat bar scene with the minors. That's basically all I can say on that. Now, I do have some people who met Based Camera on VR chat, and one of his exes, I'm going to call her Starly just to protect her identity. I'm going to edit her voice a little bit so we can't really tell because she's kind of afraid that he's going to use everything that happened against her. So, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys what the falling out was over. Me and somebody named Tristan were working on a song for Based Camera, and we were using BandLab, and there's the collaboration feature. Well, there was a really big bug where everything was forked, shifted, and everything was messed up, and it was two entirely different songs, and I was trying to ask him why it sounded like he was singing an entirely different song, and maybe that's why he didn't like it, is because he was thinking it was a different song. Well, come to find out, it was a bug within BandLab. I tried explaining that to him, and he went off on me. He cussed me out. He said he didn't want me having any part of Blockburst Studios. He didn't want my projects anywhere near Blockburst Studios. He didn't want me using the name. I'm not the director. I'm not this. I'm not that. I never claimed to be the director. I've just tried to sit here and help you, give you ideas, and there's quite a few things that aren't very okay, considering his project is a Minecraft project, and he has a character named Holly Robinson. Frank Miller, his year one Batman was all about making Batman a pedophile, and he just so happens to add the one character that's 13 and a prostitute. So that's kind of weird. And the character wasn't even originally there in the script when I had first read it. After he had done the re-editing, that's when the character was added. The character in the timeline that he's claiming, the character is around 17 and was introduced at around 17. Why be particular and add that when it's not really needed? It's not been added in any other iteration of Batman except for Frank Miller's year one Batman and his comic books on Batman, which I know I already said this, but he makes Batman into a gay pedophile, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the voice messages and all the screenshots, all the messages, everything like that.
When I first met him, I didn't really talk to him much. He had just invited me in a game, and I just decided to hang out. And so we all hung out and made some friends, and everything was cool. We got closer because his girlfriend at the time and my boyfriend at the time. I guess the best way to say it is they basically cheated on us with each other. And that kind of made me and him trauma bond, the best way to say it. I'm trying not to like talk too much pointless stuff. Um, but that's like the quickest thing. And so we started getting along. And at first, it was just us being really close friends. He came to me a lot to vent, and he would vent a lot when it came, like, especially when it came to like a specific girl. He would just, oh, this is complicated, blah, blah, blah. And I would sit there and I'd listen and I'd try to give him my best advice. Um, then our relationship with him and one of my friends didn't work. So he was back to just me and him being close friends. And then we started hanging out a lot. And then we started romantically talking. And everything was all fine and really cool. The best way to say it is kind of feel like I was being love bombed. He was really sweet, very affectionate, very attentive while we were romantically talking, and it was really sweet. He we we'd flirt back with each other. Like it was cool. And then I guess the weird part was we decided to play a game. I won't go into detail the game because it is a very specific game. And after we had played the game, he was like, "This game made me realize that we're moving too fast." And I was like, "Okay, well, we can move slow if you want, and that's fine." And after saying that, it was gone. Like, now it felt like we were just friends, like, no more romantically talking, which bummed me out a bit, but I was like, maybe we were too moving fast, and I tried not to overthink it. As we would hang out, like he would complain about a lot of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I would too. I'd complain a lot of stuff about my friends and he would too. But a lot of times the complaints were just about his friends not agreeing with him on things. It was like he would talk about how this one friend didn't agree and it led to a big fight and they stopped talking, or how he got in a fight with this other friend because they didn't agree on something. It was just like all a lot about not agreeing on stuff. I didn't think too much on it. And then the biggest thing was that the same game that made him decide that we were moving too fast, there was a character in there that he was kind of obsessed with. Like, I would say obsessed with because that's all he ever talked about. It was just that character and that character constantly over and over and over. And I was trying to talk to him, and I guess I got kind of tired of hearing that one character, so I tried having another conversation, like a debate conversation where we had two different point of views. And at the end of the conversation, he got really upset and he just left and he just was upset. And he was like, "I'm upset at you." He was like, there was someone else there in the call as well. He was like, "I'm upset at them because given the fact that the dude was also not helping with his small comments about how I'm right, blah, blah, blah." But the point is he lost it of not being right on this one conversation. I just thought maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe it's just because there was a dude instigating. I don't know. I didn't think much of it. Then later, I went to go. I play VR chat. He when we started talking, he was like, "I'm never playing VR chat again. It's bad. It's horrible. Blah 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 blah. It's bad." And I was just like, "Okay, you do you. I'm probably still gonna play. Whatever, whatever." Well, one day he was like, "I want to play with you the next day." And I was like, "Okay, cool. That's fine. Just remember, I'm probably going to be doing my group thing." And I let him know I was doing this group thing. So the next day, he said he would get on at a specific time. And so I'm kind of excited. Like, feel like this schoolgirl, and I'm going around and I'm telling all my friends in the game, like, "Oh, this guy I'm talking to, he's getting on. You're going to meet him. It's going to be so cool. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah." And he gets on a lot later than he had said he would get on, but I didn't think much. It's a game. It's fine. It's whatever. And he gets on, And at first, everything was perfectly fine. We're all hanging out, we're all chilling. It's really cool. And then a mutual friend of ours had joined the world. And I was like, oh, let's go talk to him. Like, you haven't talked to him in a while. I'm sure you want to go say hi to him. So we go to say hi, and I realized he was in this area that was like a staff only area. I could access it because I was staff of the group, but he couldn't. And I don't have the perms to give him access. And even if I did, I would have to ask permission first, to which they would probably say no. So I was like, just give me a few minutes. Let me go get him and I'll bring him out to you to say hi. So I go in, and as soon as I walked in, he's in a conversation with one of the owner of the groups. Because the group had like three owners, but he was in a conversation with one of them. And immediately, and as I walked in, all I hear is the friend going, "Oh, she can vouch for me." And I was like, "Vouch? Whoa, 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 hold on. What am I vouching for?" And so that got me dragged into about like a 5 to 10 minute conversation. It wasn't that long. Um, and given there was like a wall that was kind of see through, but it's very tinted, so I could barely see out of it. Um, and it's like it has the outside world muted, so anyone on the outside, I can't hear anyone on the outside. But after the 5 to 10 minute conversation, I was like, "Oh wait, so and so's here. Let's go talk to him." He wanted to say hi, so I go to bring my friend to say hi to him. And the moment we walked up, I was like, "Oh, here he is, here he is. Go say hi." Immediately, I walked up. He was like, "You're a fucking asshole." What? You're a huge asshole. And then he just left the game, and I was confused. I was like, "Was this a joke? Like, what's going on?" And then the next thing I know, he's messaging me, calling me an asshole, saying I'm this, I'm that I abandoned him, blah, 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 blah. And at first, I immediately was trying to make it like explain myself, but then I kind of paused and took a moment and was like, why am I explaining myself or over something this small? Like something that was not that big of a deal. So I straight up told him, I was like, I'm not going to apologize for this. And I got upset, and so I start responding because I was really upset at him. And whenever I'm trying to have a conversation with someone, it's not best to be angry because you don't think straight, you're just angry. And he immediately goes, "Oh, let me come talk to you." He tries calling me, I don't answer. He tries joining the game back to talk to me. I just don't want to talk to him. After a few minutes of consideration, I thought it was best that me and him would stay friends. So I gave him a detailed message of why I thought we should stay friends and to leave it at that. I and that was it. And that I would like to stay as his friend, and if he decides not to be my friend, then that's that. Well, at first he was like, okay. And then the next thing, he sends me a paragraph message about how I made him sound really abusive when he wasn't abusive, and that he doesn't want to be friends with someone that makes him sound abusive, blah blah blah. And he's just saying this stuff about me, and that was that. I got really upset, and I had went to a mutual friend, like crying, telling her about it, because yeah, I genuinely liked him. I was romantically talking to him, and she was like, "Okay, I'll get you." She went and she like convinced him to have a conversation with me the next day. So I was okay. The next day, I go to have the conversation with him, and at first it was fine. We apologized to each other. I don't know why. I can't remember exactly why I had to apologize. What I had to apologize for, but I still apologized. Uh, he apologized for calling me names, and then we started talking. And as we talked, it was just repetitive over and over. I would try to explain myself, and he's like, "Yeah, but you abandoned me, but you did this," and it's just repeat of over and over of the same thing, which I've noticed whenever you would have an argument with him, he would repeat his own one big point over and over. Even if you've like debunked it, he would repeat it over and over. And he was doing it in this argument. But you abandoned me. But you abandoned me. But you left me. But you left me. And I was like, yeah, to get someone for you, to get someone to talk to you. But it was just so repetitive, and it just got me more aggravated, more annoyed, because we were getting nowhere in this conversation. And he was like, "You left me for 20 to 25 minutes," and it was 10 to 5 minutes. Like, I've actually asked a bunch of people who were there, and everyone was like, "No, it was just like 5 to 10 minutes. It wasn't that long." He would go on to say how he was banging on the wall and getting my attention and waving at me, but I don't remember seeing that. Number one, the wall is really tinted, and I even like asked some people who were there, and they were like, "No, he sat in a corner silently the whole time." Okay. He was like, "I didn't know you were talking to the owner." And I had a conversation with one girl, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, he came up to me to ask if he could join you." And I told him not at the moment because the owner was in there having a conversation with you. So, like, every point he would make, it was just debunked because, like, other witnesses or other people that were there that saw or heard or whatever. Apparently the owner I had talked to, he had went to him to talk to him and tell him about how he needed to like not treat his staff that way, and he ran around telling people that that one dude attacked him, which doesn't sound like that owner. Like, I've met the dude, I'm still friends with him even though I don't do the group thing with him anymore, but that does not sound like him whatsoever. But apparently according to him, he was attacked by the owner. um Yeah, it wasn't too crazy. It was just the fact that you couldn't have a different opinion from him, because if you did, it would always start to an argument, which would lead to a big fight. Like, it was like you weren't allowed to have your own opinion. And I genuinely thought he was a good, like, really cool to hang out with. I thought he was a great friend. I don't know about other people's experience. That was just my experience, and yeah, what really led to me just blocking him was at the end of the conversation, he was like, "I can't believe you're not making a big deal out of this. Come back to me in within a year and we'll see." Like, I can't remember his exact words. Like, "Come back to me within a year. I'll come talk to you within a year. Let's hope you've learned your lesson," or whatever. Like, what? So I just blocked him because that's not how you treat people. That's not how you talk to someone. That my story isn't too crazy, isn't too outlandish.
Now let's go on to the next voice recording that I have.
I was playing this game called VR Boxing. You know, the game where you box people in VR. You win some, you lose some. I was on a winning streak. That was like a 4-0. I was like prime Mike Tyson that bit. I'm joking. I'm not. I wasn't. I was getting fucking folded. I saw this one guy, matchmake, based camera. We box. He won. He told me to join his portal server thing. It was like a bar basically with strippers. Of course, I joined. I was oblivious to what was happening because I didn't really read it fully. I didn't really read what it was called. And, like, being oblivious to what happened, I was, chit chatting with people, chit chatting with some of the workers. It was like a cool, like, role play thing. I went to the stripper area. This guy paid them to do, stripper things. What I found out was these strippers were minors, like minors that were like my age and younger. Pretty sure like only one of them was like old. I played like a year, but they were all my age or younger. So like, I'm over here like, what is going on? Why are these strippers minors? So when I found out about these paid strippers were minors, I I left immediately and I blocked them. It was weird, man. He was also talking about how he would um do weird things The blonde blazer. Just want to put that out there as well.
So from everything in this video that we have talked about, it does seem like he's narcissistic, he's a liar, and he's obsessed with pixels more than actual cooch. But hey, that's all him. And from another part, it does seem like he's got a little bit of a child fantasy, or a little bit of a, PDF issue. But anyways, that's gonna about sum this up, and I hope you guys do enjoy. I do hope you guys open your eyes up a little bit. No matter how small, no matter how big, it doesn't matter who you are, there is going to be some type of way for someone to show the truth about you. And that's the truth about Base Camera, is he's probably a PDF, and he's a liar and a narcissist, and he treats women terribly. I mean, he treated me bad, and that was just because I was trying to help him. Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody.
La guida per la città.